Good evening, family, and welcome to another edition of the Church Guy Sports Show. And you already know what time it is. Real talk, real sports, and a little bit of Church Guy energy to keep it all in perspective. So we're going to get right into it because the New York fans, we've got a lot to unpack tonight. Starting in the world of football because it's officially a sad state of affairs in New York. The Jets are now 0-7, and even the owner is calling out the quarterback. Now, you know it's bad when the frustration is so bad that it's spread from the locker room all the way up to the executive suite. So, we've got to ask a question here. Is rookie head coach Aaron Glenn already in over his head? That's not how you want to start your first season. The play calling looks off. The body language is bad. And the team looks completely lost. Something has got to give. Meanwhile, the Giants, they found a way to lose a game they had no business losing. Up big in the fourth quarter against Denver, they still managed to blow it. It's that classic snatching defeat from the jaws of victory situation. And Giants fans have seen this movie once too many times. So what do they need to do to get back on track? Is it discipline? Is it leadership? Or just a roster that can't finish a game? We're going to talk about that tonight. Now, on to a brighter note, the NBA season has tipped off tonight. And right now, there's a game going on that we don't really care about. The Rockets are playing right now against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder raised their banners. They got some really nice rings, by the way. But the game we care about is tomorrow night, as our New York Knicks are the talk of the East. But, of course, it wouldn't be Knicks basketball without a little drama. This week, Karl-Anthony Towns says that he's still trying to figure out his role in this new-look offense. That's not exactly what we want to hear as fans from one of your cornerstone pieces. ESPN also today released their preseason predictions, and most picked the Knicks to win the East, but not one of them picked the Knicks to win it all. So the question is, can this team turn that doubt into dominance? And finally, in the world of the WWE, things are heating up fast. Last night on Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins is out because of injury and was stripped of his World Heavyweight Championship, which now sets up a battle royal to decide who faces CM Punk for the now vacant title. And out of all of the chaos that happened, one man emerged, and this is going to make Keisha Carter very happy. Main event Jey Uso. But after that surprise victory, fans are wondering, are we witnessing a heel turn from Jey? Is Jey stepping into a darker, more Roman Reigns style role on his way back to the top? We're going to break it all down tonight. So buckle in, share this stream out, and let's get ready because we're talking Jets, Giants, Knicks, WWE all in one place. This is, of course, the Church Guy Sports Show, and it's starting right now.
The Church Guys. We're live on a podcast. A Church Guy Sports Show. Yo, welcome to the show where the fate meets the court. Church guys repping hard, yeah, we live for the sport. From the pulpit to the bleachers, the word we endorse. Dropping dimes, preaching truth, keeping God as the source. We breaking down the play, stats, facts, and the story. Sunday to game day, all for his glory. Talking hoops, talking fields, every touchdown and shot. But we never lose sight of the faith that we got is fellowship, fire. Passion in the zone, Church Guys Sports Show. Yeah, you know we at home. Turn the volume up loud, let the good vibes flow. This is more than just a game, it's the way that we grow. The Church Guys. We're live on the podcast. A Church Guy Sports Show. The Church Guys. We're live on the podcast. A Church Guy Sports From the locker room talk to the pews on a Sunday, we call the plays right, kingdom business on Monday. Faith on the field, spirit driving the grind. Every headline we drop got the word intertwined. We reppin' every team, but the banner is Christ. Breaking huddles with the desperate, yeah, we living it right. From the Knicks to the league, every stat, every score, we gon' praise, analyze, then we give God more. So tune in, locked in, let the truth be shown. Church Guy Sports Show, man, the vibe's full grown. It's the faith in the game and a powerful blend. From the tip off to the buzzer, we gon' ride to the end. Huh? The Church Guys. We're live on a podcast. A Church Guys Sports Show. The Church Guys.
What up? What's going on? It's your boy Bishop D-Lo. We're here. You're there. Church Guys Sports Show for the 21st of October, 2025. And we are live and direct. It is day one of the 2025-2026 NBA season, and we are excited. Game one of the season has tipped off. We watched the Oklahoma City Thunder get their banners, get their banner raised, get their rings tonight. Very nice ring, by the way. I gotta say, it's a very nice ring, by the way, that the Oklahoma City Thunder got. They're playing the Houston Rockets right now. Houston starting the tallest starting five in NBA history tonight. 4 guys at 6'11" in the starting five. So much for the era of small ball, huh? 4 guys, 4 6'11" guys and 1 7-footer in their starting lineup tonight. That's kind of scary when you think about it, but it's interesting to be seen. But right now, it does appear that the Oklahoma City Thunder is doing just fine. As far as my last check, they were leading in that game. So we're excited to get started here on the Church Guys Sports Show. Y'all jump in the comments. I see y'all jumping in already. That's what I'm talking about. What's going on? So, yeah, so far, first game, Dre, looks good so far. I thought you was going to come on tonight, Dre. But the first game looks good so far. Between Houston and Oklahoma City. So we'll be tracking that game as we go on. Second game of the doubleheader on the NBA on NBC, which is back now. The NBC and Peacock. The first, I got to take a shot at my man Carmelo Anthony, though, whom I love dearly. Y'all know he was a Knick for many years, one of my favorite players. But Melo, you a studio analyst now. Everybody else got on a suit. You couldn't put on a suit for the first game, sir. You couldn't put on a suit for the first game, Melo? Like, really? Come on, bro. Come on. Put a suit on. Put a suit on for the first game, at least. Put a suit on. I mean, come on. SGA on. Yeah, he hasn't been able to get off. It looks like the teams have learned a lot from last season on how to defend SGA a little bit better. But that's how it always is, especially with younger superstars. Now, it comes a point, Dre, where as a young superstar, SGA now has to make the adjustment because now teams are going to key on him. He's an NBA champion. He's a finals MVP. He won the MVP of the league last year. He absolutely is going to be defended a lot differently. And teams are not going to go for the stuff that allowed him to get to the line as much as he did last year. So you're going to see a big difference in SGA. You said the same thing about Mel. Like, dude, put a suit on. Why is that hard? Like, put a suit on. For the first game, at least. For the first game. Put a suit on, Melo. Like, come on. You know better than that. Yeah, Melo is so Brooklyn. Definitely. He definitely Brooklyn. That 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is all in Melo's DNA at this point. That's definitely why it looks. Definitely the way it looks. I agree. I don't know about them repeating. So, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because that brings up an interesting point. As I said in my opening monologue to open the show, hope you like the new format. We open with the monologue before we go to the opening song. Hopefully you are enjoying the new theme music. Is very hood, very urban, something that we cooked up in order to make it signature our own. We've been using a lot of other people's stuff, but, you know, the Church Guy Sports Show is an entity of its own. But to my point, and to Dre's point, as far as Oklahoma City repeating, ESPN released today their They released today their picks. We did ours last week during the show, but ESPN released their picks for the NBA season today. There are 14 beat writers that do their NBA reporting, and 8 of the 14 chose the New York Knicks to come out of the Eastern Conference. But the interesting thing I saw was even those 8 that chose the Knicks to come out of the Eastern Conference, none of them picked the Knicks to win it all. In fact, it looked like, from based upon what I read today, that all 14 are expecting the winner to come out of the Western Conference. And there were some interesting picks. Of course, there were those that think Oklahoma City is going to repeat. I saw the Houston Rockets on the list as one of them. I actually even saw the LA Lakers on there. But one of the most interesting ones that I noticed was, if healthy, somebody actually picked the Dallas Mavericks to win the NBA championship, which that's the biggest if, because that team, you got a bunch of guys, yeah, they got all the talent in the world, but that's not a healthy basketball team. None of those guys, including Kyrie, who I think is otherworldly as a guard, but still, nobody on that team can stay healthy for a full season. And your best availability, they say, is availability. And if you're not available, you're not going to win. As I'm waiting for the fellas to come on in so we can get this thing started, I'd send a text to the group like, hey, where y'all at? We got to get this show rolling. But y'all know me, I can fly solo if I need to. Sam, you said the same thing about Melo. Like, listen, I love Melo, but come on, Melo, put a suit on. Put a suit on. Why is this hard, bro? Like, come on, you could have did it for the. I mean, I'm not saying you gotta wear a suit all season long, but for at least for the first game. This is your first game as a studio analyst. This is your first game in a new place. You corporate Melo now. you taking NBC money. You taking big network money. Put a suit on. Put a suit on, Melo. I know Melo probably like, man, please, I ain't putting no suit on for these people. I'm going to be me regardless. But shout out to Carmelo Anthony, who took the studio analyst job, and he has really transitioned to an amazing life after basketball. 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is one of the top podcasts that there is out there. His wine is doing well. All of his outside of the NBA business ventures are doing well. His son is getting ready to start his first season at Syracuse University as a freshman. Shout out to Cayenne. And I actually also found, I don't know if you know this, Dre, but Dre, they actually have an NIL store now. So they got so many ways for these kids to make money that it ain't even funny. There is an NIL store where you can actually go to the NIL store, and all of the top prospects, depending upon what school they go to, you can buy the kid's jersey. So I can go buy a Cayenne Anthony Syracuse. Remember back in the days, we couldn't do that. If you could love a guy in college, you couldn't buy their jersey. The NCAA wouldn't allow it. Now I can go on the NIL store and I can get a Cayenne Anthony jersey if I so choose to. An authentic Syracuse University Cayenne Anthony, if that's what I wanted to do. Victor George Smith, my brother, what's going on? Do not come on this broadcast talking about Luka. First of all, we're still 2 hours away from that game, so we're not even thinking about Luka right now. We try to get through the first game of the season. And Keisha already told you on her post earlier today that she ain't even going to be up for it. She ain't even going to be awake. I'm not going to be awake for that game, to be honest with you. And, the reality of the situation is, this is honestly not bad. This is almost close to normal. Usually that game it's a 10 o'clock start usually. I think they pushed it back to 10:30 tonight for some reason. One of the things that NBC is doing with the West Coast games, there are select games where they're doing this thing on Tuesday nights called NBA Across America, where the early game will still be early, 7:30, but then the late game won't be until 11 p.m., which I think is on the East Coast, which is absolutely crazy. To me, I don't understand why the NBA would go to such lengths to do something like that. We dominating. Anyway, I don't know how you can trust DeAndre Ayton. I don't know how you can trust DeAndre Ayton. There's no trust for DeAndre Ayton in any way, shape, or form. He is not proven as big and as talented as he is. He is not to be trusted until he can show me that he can be a dominating force in the middle. It really don't mean nothing. It really don't mean nothing. It's going to be interesting, though, to see Luka, the slimmer Luka, playing this season with the LA Lakers. Of course, they will start the season with LeBron James on the shelf with a sciatica issue. Getting old, Bronny. hey, over 40 years old, sciatica starting to act up. I respect the 20 plus years in the league, but as sciatica start acting up, you might want to start thinking about maybe it's time to hang them up. It might be just time to make that decision because sciatica ain't nothing to play with. All jokes aside, sciatica ain't nothing to play with. And so, as an NBA player, okay, if you are hinging your season on Jake LaRavia, George, y'all are in bad shape. Because Jake LaRavia is not the difference maker in LA. You know that as well as I do. Jake LaRavia is not the difference maker. While I try to see where the fellas are right now, I'm not sure what's going on with the fellas right now. They have L told me he was going to be on early. I know J-Mac is still, he probably get on a little bit later because I know he's still recovering from the conference this past weekend. Shout out to Bishop J-Mac and to his wife, Overseer Cynthia McCants, who had an amazing Ignite conference down here in Arlington, Virginia, which is 2 hours away from me. He had an amazing conference, Ignite, in Arlington, which was absolutely phenomenal. God moved the whole conference long. I was blessed to be a part of it and to be able to present. And I'm grateful to say I went down there with a box full of books and sold them all out. To God be the glory. Presentation went well. Thank you, Jesus. It went well. So I'm grateful for that opportunity from my brother and my sister for opening that door for me. And I got to see some people I didn't get to see in a while. My other brother, Bishop Hurricane Jones, who is an amazing, amazing preacher. So it was just an awesome, awesome time. And we're looking forward to great things as well. You fired. Robert Vincent Butler II, you are absolutely fired. You knew we was coming on for this show tonight. It's the night before. The only way I'm letting you off the hook is if it's my sister who made you go to dinner. Because I don't fight with Artel. Absolutely not. Now, if she said you had to go to dinner, no argument. But if you just out, you know better than this. Come on, sir. You know we got stuff to do. Well, okay, you out, but if you can get away for like 2 minutes, I need you to pop on. It's very, very important. I need you to pop on. You absolutely have to. I can't tell you why, but I need you to pop on for 2 minutes. I need you to actually pop on live for 2 minutes. I got a surprise for y'all. So you need to pop on for 2 minutes. I hit Willie up. I'm not sure where Willie is. I know Davey is finishing up Bible study, and I'm sure Davey, because since the Knicks play tomorrow, I'm sure Davey will be on right after Bible study. So I'm trying to wait it out for Dave to get on, and we'll okay, we'll do. Great. So pop on so we can get into some stuff. I'm trying to see where J-Mac is, and you guys get on because I got something important that I need to share with y'all on tonight, and I need to share it live. I absolutely need to share it live. So we're going to get into that. But moving quickly into the world of baseball, because we cover all sports here, the World Series is set. The Los Angeles Dodgers will have the opportunity to repeat as world champions as they will take on the Toronto Blue Jays, who outlasted the Seattle Mariners last night. 4-3 victory in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. Now, I knew from the beginning Toronto wasn't a fluke. They were a good team. They tied the Yankees for the best record in the American League. What I didn't see happening was the fact that J-Mac getting ready for his flight. I figured he running. I figured J-Mac was running. But if we can grab him, and I just need y'all on for 2 minutes. I need y'all all on for 2 minutes. I need everybody on for 2 minutes. But with the Toronto Blue Jays exposing the flaws in the New York Yankees and exposing the flaws, quite honestly, in the Seattle Mariners as well. The Mariner bullpen just didn't hold up the series after Seattle took a 2-0 lead to start the series. Toronto came back and really just gave it to them, winning 4 out of the next 6 games and winning that series in 7 last night. So we have a Blue Jays Dodgers World Series. And here's this, L, if you're watching. I didn't realize it during the series against us, but the Toronto Blue Jays bench coach is one Donald Arthur Mattingly. Yeah, I'm going to let that sink in for a second. Don Mattingly will make his first trip to the World Series in baseball in any capacity as the bench coach for the Toronto Blue Jays, which goes for, and again, even as a manager, he is an old school manager. He is an old school type guy. And because he is that type of guy, I know that he is helping push those buttons in Toronto that has helped get Toronto into the World Series. And so kudos again, shout out to Don Mattingly. He will always be a Yankee as far he's in that realm with Jeter and with that group as far as being all-time Yankees. And Don Mattingly goes to his first World Series as the bench coach for the Toronto Blue Jays. Travesty. And some of you who are Yankee fans might be out there, you might be saying, well, why won't the Yankees hire Mattingly as a manager? Because Mattingly is an old school manager, and they're going to only hire people who are going to do this stupid analytic stuff. And I was watching some clips from Moneyball this week, just looking at the way it was set up again, because I know we've been having a lot of discourse over the last several weeks about the whole Moneyball thing and the way Moneyball is set up. But I need everybody to understand that, and I've been saying it, Oakland did something that was unprecedented when they went to that model of trying to save money and use their money wisely and getting certain types of players based upon analytics. But you cannot win a championship with analytics, because at the end of the day, sports is still a field game. Sports still has a lot to do with adrenaline. It has to do with the big moments. Like, for instance, last night, Russ Springer, who had some big moments with the Houston Astros, had another big moment, but this time with the Blue Jays. And when I saw it was Russ Springer with the home run last night, that basically won the game for the Blue Jays, it didn't surprise me one bit, because this is a guy who has been there before. There is something to be said for guys who don't wilt under the moment. And there are some things that the analytics are just never going to be able to tell you. There are some things that the analytics are just never going to be able to show. And that's where we get in trouble. That's where we get in trouble when we try to turn what essentially is a game, an analytical and thinking man's game, into something different, because we're trying to make ourselves be, thrifty or frugal where it comes to how we set these things up. So, again, kudos to the Toronto Blue Jays for getting it done last night. They will take on the LA Dodgers in the World Series starting this weekend, and I believe it's going to be a pretty good series. We'll see what happens. If you ask me, gun to my head, who would I choose? I think the Dodgers are going to repeat as world champions, and now we've got a situation where the Dodgers are the new evil empire. They are the new dynasty, because they keep getting the best players. They've got Dave Roberts, who's a great baseball man, at the helm of that team, and they've got they're not afraid to spend. So the Dodgers have the best players. The Dodgers have the best management. They've got probably arguably the best player in the game in Shohei Ohtani. They've got a couple of the best pitchers in the game in LA. And so it's going to be interesting to see. Now, not counting out the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have some top pitchers. You got to remember, in the Yankee series, Max Scherzer didn't even pitch. He didn't even make the roster because they were saving him for the LCS. But now you're going to see a situation where I believe the Dodgers are going to end up coming out on top again. I really, truly do think the Dodgers are going to end up coming out on top again. And if they do, kudos to them. But it's going to be very interesting to see. The Dodgers are back in the World Series for the second time for back-to-back years now. And I believe it's like the third time in the last 5 years. So they are truly the new dynasty, the LA Dodgers are. So it's going to be definitely interesting to watch and fun to see as far as that goes, with the LA Dodgers going into the World Series coming up this weekend. Let's check on that NBA game that's going on right now. Again, the Thunder taking on the Houston Rockets on banner night. Right now, Houston leads 41-39 as they play with 7:55 to go in the second quarter. A lot of points being scored early. In that game. 41-39, Houston leads OKC as they play in the second quarter. Not even quite halfway through, but as they play the second quarter, Just about 7:42 to go. And that game, as you know, the NBA on NBC is back. You can watch that game on NBC and on Peacock right now live. And then the second game of the doubleheader, we'll see the LA Lakers taking on the Golden State Warriors as well. Shifting gears to football. There is a problem over in Florham Park. That Florham Park is where the Jets practice. There's a problem in Florham Park. The New York Jets are 0-7. Worst start in franchise history. 0-7. 0-7. They are the only winless team in the entire National Football League. And you have the coach coming out, Aaron Glenn, who, I'll be honest, I was high on initially when they decided that they were going to give him the job. I was high on Aaron Glenn initially, stepping into being the New York Jet coach. But from what I'm seeing right now, he's not going to make it through the season. Aaron Glenn's not going to make it through the season. 0-7. Justin Fields has been a bust at quarterback, so much so that they're looking like they're gonna go to journeyman Tyrod Taylor. At this point, I really think they need to call to the other team that occupies the Meadowlands with them. They need to, since the Giant quarterback is doing so well, Jackson Dart, they need to call over there. And at this point, the Jets need to make an inquiry it's time to bench Justin Fields. Daniel Austin, my brother, what's going on? It's time to bench Justin Fields. He's been awful. He has been absolutely terrible. He's like, there's the worst QB rating of any starting quarterback in the NFL. He doesn't go through progressions very well. He's getting sacked an overwhelming amount of times. It's just not even funny at this point. Justin Fields has been terrible. He's not even a backup. He's barely a practice squad quarterback at this point. It's so bad that today the Jets owner Woody Johnson came out and ripped his starting quarterback. You know it's bad when the owner is ripping the starting quarterback. But that just goes and speaks to the dysfunction of the Jets because, granted, yes, Justin Fields hasn't been good, but the Jets have been in every single game. The Jets, they've been in 6 of the 7 games. They had a lead late in 4 of the 7 games. Which, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. That means it's not completely the talent. But when you are in 6 and 7 games, you hold a second half lead in 4 of the 7 games. I'm a little concerned here. Absolutely, Noah. My brother, Overseer Noah Bullard. Fields has been terrible, but doesn't help that the offense. The entire offense is bad. But I said this last week on the show, Noah. The fact that the Jets, went with an entire rookie staff. The offensive coordinator is brand new. Never been an offensive coordinator before. The head coach is brand new. You allowed Aaron Glenn to pick his guys, yes, but instead of, I don't know, but there used to be a time, I've been watching professional sports a long time, and if in any sport, I always noticed a pattern that whenever they gave a coach, or in baseball, a manager, an opportunity at his first team as far as being a team that he was going to have manage or coach for himself, they always surrounded them with assistants who were seasoned. I'll use a perfect example. The Yankees brought in Joe Torre, who, mind you, was a seasoned manager. When the Yankees brought in Joe Torre in '96, they brought in Mel Stottlemyre to be his pitching coach. 20 years of pitching coach experience. They brought in Don Zimmer to be his bench coach. Over 20 years of major league managing experience. And this was for a guy who already had a pedigree of being a manager in the league. Granted, he hadn't won anything as a manager, but they wanted to make sure that they set him up for success. So they surrounded him with people. They had Willie Randolph as the third base coach. Again, another lifelong Yankee who had been with the organization for over 20 years. This is how you build. How do you let Aaron Glenn bring in his own staff and he picks a bunch of people who have never had these high positions in the NFL before. It's a recipe for disaster. And I'm all for giving people an opportunity. I'm all for giving people a chance. But at the same time, as much as you try to do that, if the goal is to win, you've got to surround that rookie head coach with people he can lean on. I'll give you a perfect example. They asked Aaron Glenn about the quarterback situation today in his post-practice press conference, and he said not that he's going to go talk to other people within the room, not that he's going to go talk to his coaches or talk to the front office, but he's going to go talk to coaches outside of the organization to get some insight on how to deal with this. That is an indictment on you as the New York Jets, that your head coach has no one to turn to in-house to help him with this quarterback crisis. And not for nothing, and I like Tyrod Taylor, always have, even when he was a Buffalo Bill, but Tyrod Taylor is not the answer. You'd be better off calling the Giants and seeing if you can get them to trade you Russell Wilson. You'd be better off. You'd be better off trying to get the Giants to trade you Russell Wilson at this point. Because Russell Wilson can't be worse than Justin Fields. Russell Wilson is not going to lose games late. He may have lost a step. He's not what he used to be, but he's better than Justin Fields. And I was high on Justin Fields. I was high on Aaron Glenn. I thought that Justin Fields was just a victim of not having an opportunity. But when you look at the long and short of it, at the end of the day, there is a reason why Chicago gave up with him. There was a reason why he played behind Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh last year. He's just not an NFL quarterback. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Justin Fields is just not an NFL quarterback. Point blank and period. There's just no two ways about it. Justin Fields is not good. Rockets lead 46-45, 3:11 to go, second quarter of that game. The New York Knicks play tomorrow night to open their season at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers in what many people believe will be a preview of the Eastern Conference Finals in the NBA. And we are definitely excited to see what the new look New York Knicks are going to look like starting tomorrow night. Get that game at 7 p.m. on the MSG networks. Looking forward to hearing Walt Clyde Frazier again. So I'm definitely looking forward to that game tomorrow night. The Knicks will open the season without Josh Hart and without Mitchell Robinson. Josh Hart has been day-to-day since that opening game in Dubai where he tweaked something in his back. He's only been doing individual work, so he has not had a full contact practice since Dubai. So they're holding him out, obviously, as a precaution. And we were worried, and there's been a lot of chatter about Mitchell Robinson's situation. To give some clarity on the Mitchell Robinson situation, Mitchell Robinson is not injured. Just so we're clear, because I've heard people say, oh my God, he's already got an injury. No, that is not the case. The head coach, new head coach Mike Brown, talked to the media earlier today about the Mitchell Robinson situation and basically let us know that in the Mitchell Robinson situation, they're being very, very cautious with him. They're taking a lot of time to ramp him up. He missed a lot of games last year. He didn't play a whole lot. And so to preserve his health, they are ramping him up very, very slowly. In fact, he said if it was a situation where he was pressed into duty and he had to play tomorrow night, he could play. But since they do have Ariel Hukporty, they've got Trey Jemison, they've got Mohamed Diawara, they've got some other bigs, and of course Gershon Yabusele to go along with Cat. They're going to hold Mitch out tomorrow night and continue to ramp him up slowly. So no need to be alarmed, Knicks fans. It is not an injury that Mitchell Robinson's dealing with. It is not an injury. It is absolutely an opportunity for the Knicks to kind of evaluate and see where things are with this team and what needs to happen going forward. Because, the idea is to keep Mitch healthy for an entire season. The idea is to have him ready to play in the playoffs when it matters. Because at the end of the day, it is so vital and so important. like it or not, Mitchell Robinson is an important part of the Knicks' success because he is probably the best rim protector in the NBA. He is absolutely the best offensive rebounder in the NBA. So, it's got to be crazy. It's got to be it's crazy. It's crazy to me that this is happening with the Knicks, but we'll see what happens on tomorrow night. Back to the Justin Fields situation. Overseer Bullard said he had numerous offensive coordinators, talking about Justin Fields. So I think you got to give him a little more time before the plug is pulled. I don't know. I understand what you're saying, bro, but at the same time, I look at it from the standpoint of you have to be in a position to where you understand basic football schemes. And while you known you were going to be starting quarterback since middle of the summer, since the optional offseason training that you were doing all year. So I think it's absolutely necessary for you as a player to be ready. And what I'm seeing from the games I'm watching is, number one, he's holding the ball too long in the pocket. Everybody knows in the NFL, you've got less than 3 seconds to get the ball out of there. Justin Fields can run. His first instinct needs, and I think that's what you've got to do. He's got to play more instinctually, and I think he's too much in his head. That's a mental block. That's not, for me, that's not an offensive coordinator thing. That's a player thing, to where you're so much in your head that you can't do what is, to me, the most logical thing, which is you get in trouble, tuck it and run, because you can. And you've proven that you can. Tuck it and run. You've got great wheels for a quarterback. We haven't had a chance to see his arm. I agree, the offensive line has been absolutely awful, but you've got to make up for that somehow, which either means, number one, get the ball out quick, or if the pass is not there, you got to tuck it and run. That has to be the thing. Listen, Michael Vick never had a really good offensive line when he played for the Falcons. He didn't. If you go back and look at those Atlanta Falcons teams that Michael Vick was on, those were not good offensive lines. But he made plays happen because he was able to get out of his own head. And in some moments, you've got to let instincts take over. And I just don't think that Justin Fields is instinctually a good quarterback, or an NFL quarterback, rather. I don't think he's that instinctually. A quarterback can't always be told what to do. The Jets don't have the luxury of their quarterback being able to be a game manager. You're not Joe Flacco. That's not who you are. And even Joe Flacco, to a degree, yes, he's a game manager, but he still knows how to instinctually make some things happen when he needs to. That's what a good quarterback can do. Keisha Carter replying to George Smith. Yeah, replying to Victor George Smith, probably about that Jake LaRavia situation, but that's a bunch of nonsense. Sam Jennings said, yeah, they need to secure Mitch, talking about the Knicks, and give Mitch a contract extension. He'll probably get an extension, but that extension is not going to happen until they know that he's healthy. I think that's what and I think that's why they're trying to take their time with seeing where he is. If he can make it through half the season at least half the season without there being too much of an issue, I can absolutely see the Knicks extending him. And then, it's a great, because you got to remember, Mitch is still yet only 27 years old. Mitch is still very, very young. Mitch is still, and you forget that because this is, I'm sorry, he's 26 years old. This is his 6th year in the league. 26, 27 years old. 26 years old. 7th year in the league. 7th year in the NBA, Mitchell Robinson. So he's been around the block a little while. So I'd like to see him get that extension, but we'll see what happens where it comes to that. So getting ready for that, one of the big things that has come out of this week as the Knicks prepare for their home opener and season opener tomorrow night is the comments of Karl Anthony Towns after practice the other day when asked about his place in the new look Knick offense under Mike Brown. he essentially said that he's still trying to figure it out, and people were up in arms. Rockets lead 53-45, 133 to go in the second quarter. Rockets out to an 8-point lead and looking pretty strong. Real quickly, the Houston Rockets being led right now by Kevin Durant's 12 points and Amen Thompson's 10 points. Chet Holmgren has 18. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has 3 points on 1 of 4 shooting. So Houston has done a very good job, or Amen Thompson, who I'm sure is guarding him, has done a very good job so far on making life difficult for SGA as he comes out tonight as the reigning MVP. But back to the talk about Karl-Anthony Towns. The issue with Towns is the issue with the comments that people had, that Towns' comments, was the fact that Towns said that he did not really know and was still essentially trying to figure out what his role is in this new look New York Knicks team. Here's the thing with that. Of course he doesn't know his role yet. It's a brand new offense. It's not stand around and watch Jalen anymore. So there are a lot of nuances and a lot of different things that are being installed and still being installed. They probably won't know what their role is until at least a quarter of the way through the season. And that's not to give an excuse. That's just simply to say it's a brand new offense, and it is okay for them not to know. And in fact, the starting lineup has really only played a couple of minutes together. OG missed time during the preseason. There was a game where Mike Brown sat out the entire starting 5 in the preseason. Then, of course, the last game, there were a bunch of guys sat out just as precautionary matters, including Cat. So, it's definitely a situation where you can only do but so much in practice. You need some game reps. We'll get to see some of those game reps tomorrow night as we watch them take on the Cleveland Cavaliers at home. I think it's going to be a learning curve, but I stand by my prediction. I think if the Knicks are healthy, they should be a high 50s, maybe 60 win team if they are healthy. The Knicks are healthy. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to be a 60-win team in a much weaker Eastern Conference. So I'm not alarmed by that. I'm looking forward to it. Jalen Brunson in that last game of the preseason was in midseason form. 31 points. He had a great game. I like the fact that he only played 33 minutes. You want to see that. That's what we're looking at. The Coach Brown is on record as saying that, not that he's going to be the minutes police, but he's definitely going to make sure that guys are not overworked because he wants to run. And in order to do that effectively, that means you've got to shuttle in and out fresh bodies. Speaking of which, fresh bodies, this week the Knicks converted the two-way deal of Mohamed Diawara to a standard 1-year contract. Kudos to him for getting that Exhibit 10 deal moved to a regular contract. Watching Diawara so far from the Summer League down here, he reminds me of a bigger OG Anunoby, which is actually kind of scary. He's an able and capable defender. He dives on the ball for loose balls. He can handle the ball in transition. I saw a lot of coast-to-coast with him. He's a willing passer and a pretty decent passer on the fast break. I think Diawara is going to be really good. And now with Malcolm Brogdon going ahead and retiring, I'm hoping that this means that the era of Tyler Kolek as the backup will begin. I want to see Tyler Kolek play some real meaningful minutes this year. I get it. He's a bit of a defensive liability, but the man knows how to run an NBA offense, and there is no getting around that. Tyler Kolek can run an NBA offense, and because Tyler Kolek can run an NBA offense, I want to see more from Tyler Kolek this season. I mean, Tyler Kolek's not going to get you 20 points a game, but he may not score 20 points, but he will get you 20 points and assists a game if you allow him the opportunity to. And I don't even need him to be a great defender. If he's a serviceable defender, if he doesn't get exposed and beat, I want the Knicks to really give Tyler Kolek an opportunity to show and to strut his stuff. Keisha says, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the Knicks and Brown. You and me both. I'm looking forward to the season and definitely looking forward to tomorrow night. As they go to halftime, Rockets lead the defending champs 57-50 at halftime. Kevin Durant, 14 points at the half. Alpert Sengun, 10 points. Amen Thompson, 10 points for that team. 18 points for Chet Holmgren to lead all scorers. And again, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 5 points in the first half, only 5 points. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Yeah, I like Tyler Kolek a lot too, Keisha. I like Tyler Kolek a lot. I want the Knicks to really give Tyler Kolek a real opportunity. I want them to give him a real chance. I mean, they drafted him, and I think I saw him play in college at Marquette. I liked him then. When they drafted him, I said, this is a good pickup, another lefty point guard. I want him to get the opportunity. Yeah, Keisha, you're right. She says he knows how to move the ball, and he's very alert. He knows how to run an NBA offense. He knows how to run an NBA offense. That's what you need in your backup point guard. You need a backup point guard who knows where to get his scorers the ball. Now, what I need him to do is to be able to stick that three every now and then. I need him to be able to get in the lane and keep defenses honest so that they don't key on our other guys when he's in the game. But if he can do that, and if Tyler Kolek can shoot 45% from the floor, shoot 35% from three, and shoot 80%. If he can have 80, 45, 35 splits as a backup and give me 5 assists a game off the bench, I'm happy. I would be very, very happy with that. I would be absolutely ecstatic with those kind of numbers from Tyler Kolek. So, again, we're excited to look out for the Knicks. I'm sorry, it's 57-51, not 57-50. 57-51. They changed a shot from earlier from a 2 to a 3, so it's 51. But 57-51 at the half as they go there. So, yeah, and it's true. If he does that, that bench becomes even that much more dangerous. So I want to see Tyler Kolek get some real reps. Want to see him get some real reps. So I don't know so I'm not sure where the rest of the fellas are tonight. We're going to keep it moving as we've already talked about a lot in tonight's show. As we're shifting gears to World Wrestling Entertainment. The WWE this past Monday night, yesterday, saw Monday Night Raw emanating from Sacramento, California, where it was a very good show. Kudos to Becky Lynch. I got to shout out Becky Lynch before I get into what we really want to talk about. But, this kind of segues into it. Becky Lynch did an outstanding job. Now with her husband out, first of all, I want to give her kudos to making Maxine Dupree look amazing in the ring. Becky Lynch has done such a good job against Maxine Dupree in the ring that now everybody thinks Maxine Dupree should be the Intercontinental Champion. And that's what you want to do. She put Maxine Dupree over in a major way. Yes, Keisha, it was a great show last night. She put Maxine Dupree over in a major way. Maxine Dupree is now Keisha, we're going to talk about that later. But she put Maxine Dupree over in a major way. And then her backstage promo with Paul Heyman speaking on behalf of her husband. Listen, and this is the big thing. And this is where I'm probably going to catch some flack from some of y'all, Seth Rollins supporters. But, Becky is even a bigger star than her own husband. Becky got in Paul Heyman's face last night and made me believe it. She sold me Seth Rollins last night. And speaking of selling, I'm glad they finally pulled the trigger and did with the Vision what I felt like they should have done all along. The Vision didn't need Seth Rollins. They needed Paul Heyman. And listening to Heyman at the beginning of the show and later in the show, selling the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed on what it's going to take to be great, I'm loving that because that's where Paul Heyman is at his best. Look, Paul Heyman can sell you on a superstar just with his mic work. And that's what makes Paul Heyman great. Keisha, leave her alone. Leave Flat Tail Becky alone. Leave her alone, okay? She Irish, with respect. Irish women ain't got no booty. But anyway, at the end of the day, Paul Heyman did an outstanding job. And that's what he's there to do. And for me, if I'm being honest, I believe that's why the Vision didn't work. Because you had Seth as the head of this faction when Seth, number one, doesn't need to be on a mic. Number two, he wasn't even the best talker in the group. Even as Roman began to grow in his popularity, notice they never shied away from the bulk of the talking for a long time being done by the advocate, the wise man, Paul Heyman, now the Oracle. I remember back where, this is years ago, obviously, when Roman was still the big dog and Brock was still regularly in the WWE. And there was a blizzard episode of Monday Night Raw because there was a big blizzard up in the Northeast. And so they had to cancel the show. And so they did basically a bunch of promos leading up to the PLE that was coming up that weekend because they still had to sell the show. And even though they couldn't get into the arena to do anything, they were still able to go to the Titan Tower in Stamford, Connecticut and cut promos. Brock Lesnar wasn't even there. But I watched Paul Heyman sell a championship match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar by himself. That's the guy you need on the microphone, not Seth Rollins. Now, please don't get me wrong. Seth Rollins is an amazing worker. Seth Rollins in ring is fantastic. He is a great wrestler. I will never, ever say that Seth Rollins is not a great worker. But Seth Rollins is not a superstar. Yeah, I said it. Seth Rollins doesn't have the cachet of Roman Reigns. He doesn't have the cachet of Brock Lesnar. He doesn't even have the cachet of a Braun Breaker. It's all about, as the young people say, having Riz. Short for charisma. And Seth just doesn't have it. Yes, he has a dope banging theme song that everybody sing along with. Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, he wears funny looking outfits. He has a couple of cool catchphrases. But at the end of the day, you don't watch Monday Night Raw for Seth freaking Rollins. You don't go or watch a PLE for Seth Rollins. And again, I like Seth Rollins. I like him as a wrestler. In the ring, there's nobody I want to watch more than Seth Rollins. But there's more to being a WWE superstar. In fact, being that 1A guy. Say what you want about Cody Rhodes. He's a 1A. Mike Tirico's, yeah, Michael Jordan will be a frequent contributor, a guest contributor during the course of the season with the NBA on NBC. So that's going to be interesting to see as well. Michael Jordan's take on the new game. So we'll definitely get. I can't wait to definitely check that out and see how that interview went. But back to the Seth Rollins situation, and watching Becky last night showed me the difference between the two of them. Because Becky has it, charisma-wise. Becky can sell a match. Becky can sell being a heel. Becky makes you hate her. Seth Rollins is more annoying as a heel than he is somebody that you hate. Feel me on that. He's annoying as a heel, but you don't hate him. He's okay as a face, but you're not over the top that, yeah, this is the man. Hate him or love him, Roman gets a reaction one way or the other. Hate him or love him, Cena gets a reaction one way or the other. Hate him or love him, Cody gets a reaction one way or the other. Seth just doesn't get that. Seth will always be the workhorse, and workhorses are needed. But the workhorse can't be the main guy. And I think that too many people are getting caught up in the fact that, yes, Seth is there every week. Yes, Seth puts his body on the line week after week. But Seth is, again, another Triple H. Because while Roman and Cody are off doing movies, Seth has to hold down the show. Much in the way when Rock and Austin and those guys were off doing movies, when Brock decided that he wanted to go be an MMA fighter, Triple H had to hold down the company. When Cena got the call to Hollywood, Triple H had to hold down the company. And you need guys like that. You need guys that are going to keep the machine going. But those guys are not top guys. And I think that's where the disconnect is. So let me get to last night before Keisha loses her mind. Last night, Seth Rollins, due to a shoulder injury, was stripped of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and as a result, obviously CM Punk won the right to be the number one contender last week. And rather than make it crazy, I appreciate what the WWE did. They allowed Punk to keep his number one contender spot, but obviously he needs a new foil. So, in order to crown a new champion, they had a 15-man over-the-top rope battle royal last night in order to determine the new number one contender. And that match was won by one main event, Jey Uso. Now, I'm interested to see what this means because I'll be honest, my money last night was actually on LA Knight winning that battle royal. I really thought LA Knight was going to be the one that was going to come out on top. So to see main event Jey Uso come out of it, it does further the storyline a bit with Jimmy. The interesting thing at the end of it, if Jimmy saved Jey from losing a couple of times, and then it was Jey who knocked out Jimmy and LA Knight at the same time in order to save himself, and then got rid of Dominic Mysterio to win it. And Jimmy was not very happy with his brother after he saved his brother twice during the battle royal from getting thrown out of the ring. So it's interesting to see what that brotherly dynamic is going to be as Jey slowly but surely creeps more down the Roman Reigns OTC tribal chief sort of mindset. So I'm wondering, because this is going to be interesting. Technically, CM Punk is a face. Jey Uso is a face. So you've got two baby faces facing off for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event on November 1st. But here's my question about that. I don't think you're going to see CM Punk turn heel. So does that mean Jey Uso goes full on 2023 Roman? Does he go full on 2022, 2021 Roman when he came back as the tribal chief with Paul Heyman after his last leukemia situation and after COVID? Do we see Jey make that transition and main event Jey Uso turn heel? Do we see that? Now, I think it would be good for main event Jey. It would not, again, taking nothing away from the Yeetathon that happens all the time, but if Jey wants to be taken seriously as a true main event performer, I think a heel turn and a run as a heel champion might actually be good. And I agree. I saw a TikToker earlier that said we don't want to see them put the strap back on Jey Uso beating CM Punk only to have him lose it to CM Punk in a couple of weeks like they did before. If you recall, during his Intercontinental title run, Jey beat Braun Breaker and then lost it back to Braun Breaker. During his first World Championship run, he beat the Ring General Gunther only to lose it back to Gunther. If we're going to put the strap on Jey, you've got to give Jey a title run. Now, I'll be honest. It doesn't matter to me this Saturday night's main event coming up November 1st. I don't really care who wins. I don't care who wins. It's just going to be nice. I'm just glad the belt's off of Seth Rollins. I hate to put it that way, but I'm just glad the belt's off of Seth Rollins. So, CM Punk or Jey Uso, I think would be formidable champions. But what do we do feud-wise? Especially since, the big build-up feud-wise was supposed to be CM Punk and Seth Rollins anyway. I thought that was going to probably play out till WrestleMania. And so now I know WrestleMania plans for 2026 are not scrapped, but they're changing a little bit because Seth is going to be out for an extended period of time. And if he had major shoulder surgery, he could be out to upwards of 9 months, potentially. So we're going to see what happens with that. We can already scratch him out of Royal Rumble in Saudi. We can scratch him out of WrestleMania in Vegas because those are about 6 months. Those are less than 6 months away. One is 3 months away. The other 6 months away. So chances are you're not going to see Seth Rollins before maybe SummerSlam next year. So if you put the belt on CM Punk, what do you do with it? Because who's there to feud with CM Punk? Because you've moved He had a nice little feud going at one point with what's my man named Drew McIntyre, but you've moved Drew McIntyre to SmackDown. So it's very interesting, and it remains to be seen what's going to happen and what's going on. So that's what's happening in the world of sports. We've been with you for the last hour. We appreciate you joining us, sticking with us this last hour as the fellas are off doing a whole bunch of other stuff, I'm sure. I want to take the time to thank all of those that have joined us tonight. Keisha Carter, Overseer Noah Bullard, Sam Jennings, Daniel Austin, Victor George Smith, Dre Rumble. Thank you all for joining us on tonight on the Church Guys Sports Show. Join us next Tuesday. The Knicks will have played a couple games by then, and we will be here to break it down and talk to you a little bit more about what they look like so far. We'll get into some more WWE leading into that main event, the Saturday night's main event next Saturday, and just more about the world of sports as always. Until then, orange and blue skies are back, baby. The NBA season's in full swing. We'll see you next week. Have a great night, everybody.
The Church Guys. We're live on a podcast. A Church Guys Sports Show. Yo. Welcome to the show where the fate meets the court. Church guys repping hard, yeah, we live for the sport. From the pulpit to the bleachers, the word we endorse. Dropping dimes, preaching truth, keeping God as the source. We breaking down the play, stats, facts, and the story. Sunday to game day, all for his glory. Talking hoops, talking fields, every touchdown is shot. But we never lose sight of the faith that we got is fellowship, fire. Passion in the zone, Church Guys Sports Show. Yeah, you know we at home. Turn the volume up loud, let the good vibes flow. This is more than just a game, it's the way that we grow. The Church Guys. We're live on the podcast. A Church Guys Sports Show. The Church Guys. We're live on the podcast. A Church Guys Sports Show. From the locker room talk to the pews on a Sunday, we call the plays right, kingdom business on Monday. Faith on the field, spirit driving the grind. Every headline we drop got the word intertwined. We repping every team, but the banner is Christ. Breaking huddles with the desperate, yeah, we living it right. From the Knicks to the league, every stat, every score, we gon' praise, analyze, then we give God more. So tune in, locked in, let the truth be shown. Church Guys Sports Show, man, the vibe's full grown. It's the faith in the game and a powerful blend. From the tip off to the buzzer, we gon' ride to the end. The Church Guys.